Name a bad Magic the Gathering card, and I'll tell you why it's good. And I'm going to start off with the Corrupted Resolve. It's a blue 1 generic instant. Counter target spell if its controller is poisoned. So, you know, everyone's looking for a counter spell that can do everything, but most counter spells, they're very narrow in some capacity. Spell Pierce, counter target non-creature spell unless you pay 2. Dispel, only counter the instance. Mana Leak, counter unless they pay 3. You know what? We gotta go with the Corrupted Resolve here. If you're already in Infect, if you're already creating poison counters, this is the all-around counter spell for your deck. It'll counter anything, including the things that are gonna kill your Infect creatures. And that'll get the table really angry. We're gonna go with Toads. Do the black mana battery. I believe this is black mana battery. Okay, we have a 4-mana artifact. Pay 2, tap. Put 1 charge counter on black mana battery. Tap, add a black to your mana pool, and remove as many charge counters as you wish. For each charge counter removed from black mana battery, add a black to your mana pool. Play this ability as an interrupt. Now, you want to cheat on lands in your deck? Well, guess what? You can play with the black mana battery, because after you hit your 4th land drop, no more lands required. You can dump those lands to discard to other effects, and as you pass the turn back and forth, don't be the threat. Let other people be the threat. Save your mana every single turn to ramp up the black mana battery. They'll think that you only have 4 lands in play. You can't play 10 drops or 8 drops. They're wrong, because black mana battery gonna get them where they least expect it. Next up, we're gonna have Abzo with the Altar of Shadow. Sorry, Shadows, a 7-mana artifact. And that's such a powerful, rare magic card. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, you add a black to your mana pool for each charge counter on Altar of Shadows. Pay 7, tap, destroy target creature. Then put a charge counter on Altar of Shadows. This is perpetual removal every single turn. I mean, we talk about everyone loves to draw cards. Well, what do you need to draw cards for when you have the Altar of Shadows? Because once it's on the battlefield, not only does it give us mana, which absolutely is insane, it is also a perpetual creature destruction machine. So don't get in the way of the person with the Altar of Shadows. Don't be attacking them, because you attack them, they're going to deal... It's going to be the last time that creature attacks. It's going to be the absolute last time. I would love to have this card in my deck. Green players, you know, like, so like if you're mono green, you barely have access to any creature destruction, right? I shouldn't say mono green, not in Commander at least, in Funsies, because, hold on, can you play? I don't think you can play this in Commander. This goes against the color identity of green. But if you're not playing Commander, you could play this in your mono green deck. And then, you know, you used to play with Beast Within, right? Well, you don't need to have Beast Within, because you can have Altar of Shadows. Use all that mana to your benefit and get them. Kill all their creatures perpetually every single turn. All right, next up, Ryan Harris with Ebony Rhino. Great card, Altar of Shadows. 7-mana 4/5 with Trample, and there's nothing wrong with Trample, all right? 4/5, that gets out of range of Psionic Blast. That gets out of range of Fire Blast. I mean, there's very few... 5 toughness is a high bar to hit. You look at Shieldred in the metagame. It's so good because it's got that 5 toughness, out of range of Lightning Bolt, out of range. See, the very few things will do 5 damage, like maybe Shrapnel Blast, but they still have to sacrifice a creature. Or sorry, they have to sacrifice an artifact. There's like Dismember, but barely anyone plays that. Look at this, 7 mana. That gets out of range of Fatal Push, one of the most popular removal spells in the entire game. Okay, gets completely out of range of this thing. So anyway, Ebony Rhino, great card. The 7 mana, that's not a disadvantage. Turn that disadvantage into an advantage. And then next up, we've got Will Anderson with Acacian Money Changer. Gonna change up them monies. Okay, we got a white 0/2 townsfolk. Money Changer deals 3 damage to you when summoned. Put 3 credit counters on Money Changer at that time. During your upkeep, put 1 credit counter on Money Changer. Okay, hold on, I can't read the ancient text. The ancient text means nothing to me. Okay, enters the battlefield with 3 counters on it. Enters the battlefield, deals 3 damage to you. At the beginning of your upkeep, put a credit counter on Acacian Money Changer. Sacrifice Acacian Money Changer. You gain 1 life for each credit counter on Acacian Money Changer. Activate only during your upkeep. This card, first off, helps reduce your life total for Death Shadow decks. So if you're an Orzhov Death Shadow, this is an excellent thing you can have in play immediately. If you blink it, you can further reduce your life total down. Because here's the thing. If let's say you want to play Death Shadow in Commander, well, how are you going to reduce your life total from 40 all the way down to like 10? Well, you can do that with the Acacian Money Changer. Between playing Acacian Money Changer and blinking it over and over again, it's not when you cast, it's when it enters the battlefield, you'll be able to turn your Death Shadow on, and maybe even what is that mortality card? Something of mortality. Shadows of Mortality? Shadow of Mortality. If your life total is less than your starting life total, this spell costs X less to cast, where X is the difference. This card will cost 2 mana, thanks to the Acacian Money Changer. You gotta look for the synergy, people. It's all about the synergy. Ecos! Thank you very much for your super chat. Racolite. Racolite. 8 mana, prevent 1 damage. Well, that's what you think. It's a 6 mana artifact. So first off, it's 6 mana. It's an artifact, pay to prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. Return Racolite to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. If you have infinite mana, you can prevent everything. So there's one problem. Only one deck, only one color gets access to the Circle of Protections, and that is the white players. Okay, so anyone, the white mages, they have access to Circle of Protection. But if you're red, if you're blue, black, or green, you don't. That's why you use Racolite. And also, so if you have an infinite mana combo, you have 100% protection to your creatures and to yourself as well. So if they throw 1 damage, they better throw infinite, because you have infinite prevention. Next up. Oh, Apocalypse says the last card triggers Karlov Ghost Counter. It triggers Karlov Ghost Council decks. Good idea, too. Confidence, the Thought Eater. Thought Eater, a 2 mana 2/2 with fly. Your maximum hand size is reduced by 3. Oh, I got it. If you reduce your hand size by 3, you don't need discard outlets for your reanimation spells, because you can discard the hand size. Who needs discard outlets when you have the Thought Eater? It is secretly the discard outlet by itself. Ha ha ha. You play your Thought Eater and they're like, yeah, that resolves. Discard! Well, I don't want to say Grizzlebrand, that's banned in Commander. Discard. What doesn't get shuffled back into your deck? Think of all these, like, competitive Legacy and Modern cards. Archon of Cruelty. So you discard Archon of Cruelty. Well, you could play with one with nothing, but I think this is a better one with nothing. This is one with nothing with, like, lets you keep a few of your cards in hand, and so like keeps a few cards in hand, and also is a discard outlet for your reanimation spells. With those 3 last cards, you can reanimate your Archon of Cruelty and have backup counter magic. That's exactly what's going to go on here. Next up, we got Abe with the Reap Intellect. Thanks so much for your super chat, Abe. Reap Intellect. What does that mean, Reap Intellect? Like, I'm getting intellect here? Black, blue, 2 generic X sorcery. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose up to X non-land cards from it and exile them. For each card exiled this way, search that player's graveyard, hand, and library for any number of cards with the same name as that card and exile them. Then that player shuffles their library. Well, I mean, first, so this looks a little poopier in Commander, but Still, at the same time, you can wipe out somebody's entire hand with this. So the benefit, if you're not playing with Commander, then you're going to exile like basically everything from their deck. For every card that you pluck from their hand, boom, it's gone out of their deck entirely. But at the very least, this is like... Hold on, let me... what is that banned card in Legacy? Mind Twist? Mind Crank? No, Mind... Something Twist. Someone help me here. There's... Oh, yeah, it is Mind Twist. So pay a black, X, sorcery. Target player discards X cards at random. Now, I know one of the benefits of this thing is you can hit their lands, but still you can still hit their cards. By the time that we want to play with this card, we will... It's basically target opponent, like, discards their hand. Just make sure that you have as much X as they have of their hand. Because, like, okay, you don't hit their lands, but big deal. Most of their best lands are in play already. You want to hit the spells. So it's a one-sided... discard hand. Target player discards their hand card. Which would be excellent after you Wheel of Fortune. Everyone gets cards, and then boom, you basically make them discard the entire thing. Alright, next up, let's take a look at Gleb with Chandler. Chandler is a 5-mana 3/3 with red tap. Destroy target artifact. This card is insane. What, every single turn? Destroy your Soul Ring. Destroy your... I was about to say the One Ring, but that's indestructible. Artifacts are like the soul of Commander. And for that, every single turn, you just destroy their artifacts. And you can do it for the low cost of 3 red mana. This is a repeatable effect. Everyone's going to be going to completely fear you at the table when you have the Chandler out. Do not underestimate repeatable card destruction in some form or another. Chandler's a fantastic card. Boulder! Thank you so much for your super chat. Paying for 2, Vexing Devil and Master Cruelties. Okay, so here's the thing with Vexing Devil. You gotta get him. This is the time to play the Vexing Devil is after you play Wildfire. Alright, so step 1, play Wildfire. Where's Wildfire? Oh no, what is this one? What is the 8 mana one? Worldfire? Okay. Step 1, play Worldfire. Exile all permanents, exile all cards from all hands and graveyards. Each player's life total becomes 1. That's when that's when Vexing Devil comes in play, okay? For a red 4/3, now nobody is going to want to pay that 4 life. When it enters the battlefield, any opponent may have it deal 4 damage to them. I mean, you could take one for the team so the other 2 survive, but no one's going to want to do that. If a player does, sacrifice Vexing Devil. So you can't play it when they have 40 life. You gotta do it when they're down, when they have 1 life. And by the way, you're looking for stuff to be mana efficient after Worldfire gets played. You want to play 1 land Vexing Devil. That's when the Vexing Devil comes into play. Worldfire is awesome, and also it's even more awesome when you put everyone to the decision. Because that's the thing, like you play Vexing Devil. Whoops. Does anyone want to take 4 damage? If you do, you die. But you save your other 2 fellow players. But if you don't, I will kill you off 1 turn at a time. Yeah, Vexing Devil gonna come back. That's time for... I'll tell you, it's time for Vexing Devil. What's you wanted? Master of Cruelties. Master... Oh, how did I spell this wrong? Oh, it's Master, probably. Master of Cruelties. Who said this was a bad card? This is an all-star. Look, this thing is $3. It's been reprinted a billion times. It's a red-black 3 generic 1/4 first strike death touch. Master of Cruelties can only attack alone because it only needs to attack alone. When Master of Cruelties attacks a player and isn't blocked, that player's life total becomes 1. Master of Cruelties assigns no combat damage this turn. I mean, in Commander, there's always someone defenseless in Commander. Not to mention, you can just make this thing unblockable. Just give it, like, I want to say there are some, like, invisibility cloaks. I can't remember the names that make creatures unblockable. But make it unblockable, give it flying, give it protection from the colors of your opponent's choice, and they're basically going straight to 1. And then you can play... You know what to play. You play your Vexing Devil and put them to a decision for all their chips. That's how Master of Cruelties works around here. The key is you just have to make it unblockable, and that's all. Okay, we got Kevin the Carpathian, the Firestorm Hellkite. Sounds like you're asking me for a reason to play this card. I'll give you many. There's a red-blue 4 generic 6/6 dragon with flying and trample and cumulative upkeep of a red and a blue. You're supposed to fling this thing. So you can put in a fling that it's good on defense for a few turns. But I can't remember any of the cards. You can sacrifice the creature and it'll deal damage equal to its power. But that is not a bad rate over here. Frankly, okay, look, for most flying creatures, this is not that bad. And also even for blue-red. So, and cumulative upkeep is not too hard, because if you're playing with dragons, you're also playing with, what is the treasure dragon? Attack gold span dragon. Cumulative upkeep looks hard. When you got gold span dragon, flying haste. Whenever it attacks or becomes the target of a spell or ability, create a treasure. Treasures you control have tap. Sacrifice this artifact. Add 2 mana of any one color. Thanks to Goldspan Dragon, your Firestorm Hellkite will still stay in play and trample over any other flyers. It's excellent damage. Okay, next up, we've got Brandon Hall with... people have to start giving me 1 card per super chat. What happened with... Where did these 2 super chats come from? Hypochondria. And you want Pyromania. Okay, we got Hypochondria. It is a white 1 generic enchantment. Pay a white, discard a card from your hand. Prevent the next 3 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. This is fantastic. What's wrong with that? We got a madness outlet, and also this is an overall, all-around circle of protection for all colors. Also pay a white, sacrifice the Hypochondria itself. Prevent the next 3 damage that would be dealt to target creature or player this turn. Basically, in a pinch, if you have no more cards in your hand, you can sacrifice your Hypochondria. Discard outlet for Reanimator. Discard outlet for Madness. You gotta turn your disadvantages into an advantage. Then we have Pyromania for 3 mana. And Red absolutely likes to discard cards. I mean, have you heard of, you could discard even things like Faithless Looting and get value out of that because you can flash it back from the graveyard. For a red and 1 generic, discard a card at random from your hand. Pyromania deals 1 damage to target creature or player. It's okay, you can discard anything from your hand because when you play Past in Flames from your hand or from the graveyard, you're going to get all those cards back. And also for a red 1 generic, sacrifice to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. Just gotta make sure this is part of a Past in Flames deck of some sort. We mean, nah, dude, this card is absolutely broken. David Groves with Takeno's Cavalry. Seems tricky to find even the edgiest of edge cases for it. Look, it's a 4-mana 1/1 in the Samurai archetype. We don't have a lot of Samurais in the game, so you gotta use this one. Bushido 1. When it blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it was never a 1/1 in the first place, because in combat it gets bigger. Now tap, Takeno's Cavalry deals 1 damage to target attacking or blocking spirit. I mean, this is better as a sideboard card, but... what is it with? Is it Maskwood Nexus? You have to I guess you have to donate the Maskwood Nexus to them, and then you can start dealing damage to anything that, any of the 1 toughness creatures that they come attack you with. Deal 1 damage to start attacking or blocking spirits. Yeah, that's it. You have to turn. I can't remember the card. There's a card that turns all creatures in play into a particular creature type. So like everything is a spirit. I'm pretty sure that, I think there's something other than Maskwood Nexus, because this is only your creatures, but I don't remember what it's called. And then you have the ability to basically snipe down anything and everything. See, this is a little bit better than Tim, like Prodigal Sorcerer, because at least it can get bigger when it's attacking, or when it becomes blocked, or it's blocking itself. Okay, next up, Crowcore Games with Statecraft. Other than being good for target for Zedru, the Great-Hearted, this is miserably bad. Don't be saying bad things about Statecraft. Statecraft is a fantastic card. It's a 4-mana enchantment, prevent all combat damage that be dealt to and dealt by creatures you control. look, if you are a creature combo deck that needs your creatures to stick to the battlefield against things like Blasphemous Act, this is exactly what you want. Like, if you're not getting into the red zone, you have some convoluted mill strategy going on, if you have a creature combo of any sort, not just for Zedru, you want to have the Statecraft on the battlefield. So you just need to prevent all the damage that be dealt to and dealt by creatures you control, because you're not attacking, but you got to make sure that you can at least infinitely block your opponent's creatures. I mean, like, what? Are they going to attack you when you have Statecraft out? Absolutely not, because you can just block freely. So they're going to attack somebody else. They're going to do your dirty work. And then eventually, when you assemble your combo, because you were never the threat in the first place, you're going to win in one shot. And then next, we've got Zazex with Dovescape. Dovescape, the 6-mana enchantment. Whenever a player plays a non-creature spell, counter that spell. The player puts X 1/1 white and blue bird creature tokens with flying into play, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. I mean, between this and Humility, I mean, this is just a combo, right? That's just a combo. All creatures lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 1/1. From now on, everything just gets countered, and everything shrinks, and then dies. It's a fantastic card. You have to play it in combination of other cards. You need the synergy. If you ever heard of synergy, that's the synergy with Dovescape. And it's also all in the same color. Next up, we've done Wood Elemental in the past. We gotta come in, people. We gotta go deeper. We gotta go deeper, like Master of Arms. As an activated ability, that does nothing because of the current rules. That's what you think. So we have a, hold on. Okay, let's read the modern day script. It is a human soldier, first strike, pay a white, 1 generic, tap target creature, blocking Master of Arms. I know that there's like a card that if you tap target creature blocking Master of Arms. I got it. If your opponent has a creature with an activated ability that is necessary on their turn, you can play Lure on your Master of Arms, force them. Oh, I got the idea. Okay, so we get Lure out here. Where's Lure? Enchanted creature. All creatures able to block enchanted creature do so. Okay, so you put the Lure on your Master of Arms. You attack the player with like a billion big chunky creatures. They all block. Because this is not a tap ability. You can pay as much mana as you want. Tap all of them down. Master of Arms is basically taking one for the team. Probably take out one creature while it's at it because it's got first strike. But you basically tap them all down, and then the next player at the table can swing in for the win. Or you can just swing in by yourself. I mean, if you can do the job yourself. But I think ideally you may not have everything available, but you can tap them all down, and then someone else will, now that you've cleared the way, someone else will kill them. It costs a ton of mana. Hey, everything costs a ton of mana. You need mana to make mana in this game. You need mana to make mana. Next super chat. Boulder was pay to win around here. We've got the, alright, challenge. Make Leveler and Eater of Days good without donating. Leveler is like a combo card. What are you talking about? This is with Thassa's Oracle. Comes to play, remove your library from the game. You play Thassa's Oracle, that's it. It's a very known combo card. Card disqualified from the show, it's too good. Then we have Eater of Days. This is also a very well-known good card. It's a 4-mana 9/8 Flying Trampler. See, when it comes into play, but it will give your opponent 2 turns, but you just play Torpor Orb first. That's great on the curve. And that also shuts down tons of cards, as it is. This is almost like a stacks piece. So you play turn 2 or turn 3 Torpor Orb, and then turn 3 Eater of Days. I mean, you could even go, actually you can do this in 2 turns. You go turn 1 Soul Ring, Torpor Orb, turn 2 Eater of Days. You would never have seen it coming. Never have seen it coming. Okay, Justin Wallen, the Cephalid Snitch. Who's us? Snitches get stitches. Looks like this person's gonna get some stitches around here. It's a blue 1 generic 1/1 Cephalid. Sacrifice Cephalid Snitch. Target creature loses protection from black until end of turn. What is like some really famous, well-known pro-black creatures? I'm curious, actually. Would this make Emrakul lose protection from black? If a creature has protection from everything... Well, I guess if it has protection from everything, you can't actually even target with this in the first place. So... Oh, anyway, target creature loses protection from black. You never know when someone has protection from black. I'll admit, it's not very often, but... I'll tell you what the benefit of this card is. It's a wizard, so you can put it in your wizard deck for other wizard synergy, including sacrificing itself to things like... what's it called? I can never remember. No, it's not Prodigal Sorcerer. Prodigy? Something Prodigy. Is it the Prodigy? Yeah, Void Mage Prodigy. Sacrifice a wizard, counter target spell. So I would be looking at this less like a creature that removes protection from black from a creature and more like a wizard creature on curve. I mean, with Sapphire Medallion, it's just basically 1 blue and fits the curve quite nicely. Okay, next, we're going to take a look at the Super Chat of John. Dragon's Appeasement. Can lock you out of the game. Or can it lock someone else out of the game? Dragon's Appeasement. Oh, do we have that right? Dragon's Appeasement? Do we have this? Is it called Appeasement? Oh, Dragon Appeasement. We need perfect names around here. That's okay, we figured it out. Okay, this is... Oh, it's in Jund colors. It's already bonus by itself. 6 mana, enchantment. Skip your draw step. Well, who needs a draw step when I have Necropotence in play? I already didn't have a draw step. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, you may draw a card. Holy crap, that is absolutely bonkers. So basically, we just create... you just have to have a sacrifice engine that makes creatures. That's all. And then this is basically Yawgmoth's Bargain. Isn't that right? Like, am I not wrong here? And there's like between the you can have, and also between like doubling season. This doubles the counter. It's creatures. Yeah. If an effect would put 1 or more counters on a permanent, it puts that many. If an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, creates twice as many of those tokens instead. So as you sacrifice creatures to make tokens, and also make sure that you're sacrificing creatures with Undying, make sure that they get some sort of token out of it. Then you start drawing cards like crazy. So I think the colors of black, red, and green have all the things in place to basically draw your entire deck through Dragon Appeasement. You're not drawing cards because you're already getting the card. You're already sacrificing creatures. You might as well get some value out of it. Next up, Turat. Sorry, Tura. Okay, with Tatsumasa. Hopefully that's good enough. The Dragon's Fang. I think we saw this one before. Okay, 6 mana, equipped creature gets +5/+5. 6 mana, remove Tatsumasa, the Dragon Fang, from the game. Put a 5/5 blue dragon spirit creature token with flying into play. Return Tatsumasa to play under its owner's control when the token is put into a graveyard. Equipped for 3. So what this is it's an equipment you have in play. You can play sweepers, as many sweepers as you want, and then when you're ready, you can remove Tatsumasa from the game, put a dragon in play, and then even if you have more sweepers available, you can still sweep the board. You lose the dragon, you get your Tatsumasa back, and then you can keep doing it over and over again. I think it's great in a sweeper deck. No one's going to have anything left in play except your Tatsumasa over and over again. Great card. Okay, next up. Toads gave me a super chat of $1. Did you have a card, Toads? I don't have no idea. Or do you like throw me $1 and run? I have no idea what was Toad's super chat, if it was anything at all. So I will just donate the super chat to Jacob, Dual Nature. Okay, it's a 6-mana enchantment. Whenever a creature comes into play, its controller puts a creature token into play that's a copy of that creature. So it's control. So we all get double our creatures. Whenever a creature card leaves play, remove all tokens with the same name as that creature from the game. When Dual Nature leaves play, remove all tokens created with it from the game. I'll tell you what, you gotta make Thragtusk tokens out of this, baby. We need Thragtusk. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. That is a lot of life. And when Thragtusk leaves the battlefield, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. And now that will have you'll have fantastic synergy with your Dual Nature. You gotta have those things that have ETBs and abilities when they leave the battlefield and basically die, or not. Okay, they get exiled, right? Yeah, we exile the tokens. We need ETB triggers and leave the battlefield triggers, not death triggers. And then we will get the benefit out of Dual Nature even if they remove our stuff. But the opponents hopefully will not. All right, if you want to buy your bad cards, they're actually good in Magic the Gathering. You know where to get them from. You get them from FusionGamingOnline.com, my favorite place to buy my Magic the Gathering cards. They got Mon Horizons 3 out. There are new cards. Basically, the set has shaken up everything in Commander, Modern, and Legacy. There's tons of upgrades that you need to get. You know where to get those upgrades. You get them at FusionGamingOnline.com. That is if you want to support the channel. But also, if you want to support yourself, use coupon code Nikachu at checkout to get 5% everything at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. You play on Magic Online, the digital format. You can play Commander. It's got Commander. It's got Standard. I mean, you wish you could play anything in Standard on MTG Arena, but well, guess what? You can't because you need to buy the wild cards. But when you're renting on Magic Online, or through Mana Traders, you can play any deck you want in Standard. And when they cycle out, whatever. You don't lose anything. And you always keep up with the latest card pool of every Standard environment. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below or save 10% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu_OKM. Look, it's bad. Back to bad Magic the Gathering cards. The worst of the worst. Okay, we've got... we've done Scornful Egotist many times. It's a great card. We need new cards. We've done that on the old shows. Chaos Orb is broken. There's a lot of in most play groups, they consider Chaos Orb 2 mana destroy target permanent. So that's definitely disqualified. Okay, we got Carla with the giant slug. This better not be a vanilla creature. I thought it was gonna be green. Okay, it's a 2 mana 1/1. You know, it's I will have to admit it's quite small for a giant creature. Okay, 5 mana. During your next upkeep, choose a basic land walk ability. Giant slug gains that land walk ability until end of turn. It's unblockable for black. There's nothing wrong about that, but you have to pump up your giant slug, and after you pump it up, you'll get the land walk necessary to have unblockable against anybody at the table. What does it mean by next upkeep, though? At the beginning of your next upkeep, choose a basic land type. Ah, so you can pay it now, pay now, get later. It's like you're investing in land walk. So end of turn, I'm going to give this 5. This thing's going to have forest walk next turn. That's right, Bobby, I'm going right after you. Next up, super chat from Balder with Unearth. Unearth, a lot of people will say this card is just reanimation. Someone killed your thing, you reanimate it. It's for 1 mana, and it cycles. This is absolutely disqualified. I'm gonna donate that one. That was a little too good for this show. Darwin, Mighty Tarpan. Ooh, the 1 mana 1/1. It's a horse. If Tarpan is put into the graveyard from play, you got a death trigger. And that death trigger also gains you 1 life. And if you can bring it back from the graveyard, you might even loop yourself an infinite life gain combo. Okay, this will also go very well with that, what's it called? The, I think if you can double these creatures, this has fantastic synergy. No, it's not when it it's not when it enters the battlefield you gain life, it's when it dies. I think it's a pretty good rate. And it also goes well with it has synergy with Crested Sunmare? Other horses you control have indestructible. I'll admit, you sort of want that last creature to die. But, at the beginning of each end step, if you gained life this turn, create a 5/5 white horse creature token. So in your Crusted Sunmare sacrifice deck, you play your Tarpan. They can't kill it. They can't kill it, but you can. You can sacrifice your Tarpan to, you know, you use some artifact or something to make mana. It dies. You gain the life, and then all of a sudden, you're making 5/5 white horses with Indestructible. Fantastic card. Okay, next up. Who hasn't got a card yet? How about Anti with Rebirth? Who said that these anti cards are bad? The problem is they're banned. That's the only problem. Rebirth. So this doesn't really count. It's like each player may be healed to 20 life. Any player choosing to be healed antis an additional card from the top of their library. Remove Rebirth from the deck before playing, if not playing for anti. I mean, it's a good card. The only problem is anti. It's gambling. So anyway, that's why it's banned. But if anti wasn't banned, if we were playing Magic the Gathering for ages 18 and up, there's nothing wrong with Rebirth. Or I don't know what the gambling rules are in your country or state. Okay, next super chat we got from Mamfaxo. The Kobolds of Care Keep. This is, I mean, it's for your 0 mana deck. If you're playing some sort of like red affinity, you need as many zeros as you can. It also helps. I don't want to say it like helps for Storm, but do not look at. Let me show you, for example, Ornithopter. This is one of the most broken creatures in the game. Now I know it has flying, but it's broken because it's 0 mana. Now let's look at Memnite. This card, Ornithopter has been in so many cards that have gotten cards banned, but no one wants to ban the Ornithopter. They want to ban something else. Then we go look at Memnite. Again, 0 mana 1/1. All-star in many decks. Now, these are colorless, but if you have access to red, you would still play the Kobolds of Care Keep, because it is just something you can play for free, instantly. By instant, I mean at sorcery speed on your turn. This is one of the most mana-efficient things you can do very early on in the game, and play it in those, I mean, it will help your, he'll help pay for Convoke. It will help just spew a bunch of stuff on the battlefield. Just suit it up with the Lord and you're ready to go. Don't even need red. Well, you need the red if you're playing Commander, because you have to be within the color identity. But it is true, you don't actually need red if you're not playing Commander. Justin Wallen, Animal Sanctuary. I mean, if you don't have ramp, sure, right? Tap for add a colorless, pay 2, tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target bird, cat, dog, goat, ox, or snake. This is a great combat trick. I mean, you're there attacking or blocking. Someone will ask, hey, how big is your creature? I got a 5/5. Okay, I attack you with my 5/5. Well, sorry, because I actually have Animal Sanctuary in play, which can buff up my creature, winning in combat versus your 5/5. PM with Darksteel Relic. Darksteel Relic. Darksteel Relic is indestructible. All you have to do is put your In-Soul artifact on it, which is a blue 1 generic enchant artifact. Enchant artifact is a creature with base power and toughness 5/5 in addition to its other types. Oh, and by the way, thanks to the Darksteel Relic, it is indestructible. Thank you for the 5/5 indestructible creature. You've fallen straight into my trap. Okay, Croaker Games with Celestial Dawn. Read errata, it does nothing. You're not going to tell me that it does nothing. That's what the last player said. Lands you control are plains. What's wrong with that? Non-land permanents you control are white. The same is true for spells you control and non-land cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. You may spend white mana as though it were mana of any color. You may spend other mana as though it were colorless mana. I don't get it. How can you say it's not white? This is like isn't this like a color fixer for white mana? Okay, hold on. Lands you control are plains, which could be relevant to buff something up equal to the number of plains you control without actually having plains in your deck. Non-land permanents you control are white. The same is true for the spells you control and non-land cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. You may spend white mana as though it were mana of any color. You may spend other mana as though it were colorless mana. I don't get it. Yeah, everything's white. This is like a painter. This is like another version of Painter Servant if you need everything to be white. Right? Like, isn't this plus Grindstone an ability to, like, mill your entire deck if necessary? Yeah, it's like white mixed synth lattice, and that sees tons of play. Come on, get out of here. This card is actually too good for the show, in my opinion. Yeah, self-explaining. That's right. JJ Jones. Maybe. Yeah, absolutely a 5-color fixer. Okay, rules-wise, you can spend white as though it were white. So basically, white is everything, but everything is white. That's fine. Nothing wrong with white. Corbinek, Leyline of Life Force is my challenge card. The 4-mana enchantment. If Leyline of Life Force is in your opening hand, you may begin the game with it in play. Creature spells can't be countered. This thing is fantastic. Like, if you're a creature-based deck and you're in an environment of blue players, which there's tons of, like, what environment doesn't have a force of will in it? None of your creatures are going to get countered. Do you have a commander that you hate getting hit by days? Well, I got the card for you. It's the Leyline of Life Force. Now, none of your creatures are going to be countered, and if you have a creature combo, that cuts out, like, half the interaction against said combo. I have a feeling this is a show where people like to submit cards that are, like, they're like, come on, Nikachu, validate my janky card. Please do it. Brandon Hall with Scornful Egotist. We've had this on the show. I would have ignored it if I could. So at the very least is a 3-mana 2/2 that can be put in your wizard deck. Ugh, I can't remember what we said about this last time. It's very relevant that it has like 8 mana in hand. It costs at least 8 mana. I mean, at the worst case scenario, it's still a blue card you can pitch to Force of Will, to Subtlety, to Force of Negation. But there's like a really good reason that it's 8 mana. What are those cards like sacrifice? Deal damage equal to converted mana cost. I swear there's like a red card that does this. Choose target creature, then put top 3 cards. Creature's player equal to the highest converted mana cost among... Okay, Heretic's Punishment. Heretics. Okay, let's take a look at this card. Heretic's Punishment, 5-mana enchantment, pay 4. Choose target creature or player. Then put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. Heretic's Punishment deals damage to that creature or player equal to the highest converted mana cost among those cards. And you better believe the Scornful Egotist can most definitely be that highest mana cost, dealing an entire 8 damage to that creature or player. Fantastic card. Any over... No, vanilla cards are basically banned. Don't give me vanilla cards. It's not so interesting. Nicholas with Trench Post. If anyone hasn't got a card yet, let me know. Okay, we have a Locust. Locust is great. It's synergy with the other Locusts. Tap, add a colorless, pay 3 tap. Target player mills a card for each Locust you control. So you're not gonna... I mean, you could mill your opponents, but generally this is just gonna be self-mill to help you... I mean, you're gonna self-mill yourself in your Cloud Post deck. Now, you might need extra help with your, what's it called? Life from the Loam. To look for... So you have Life from the Loam to go find your Locusts out of your deck, and then when you dump them into your graveyard, you bring them back. And then if you have Trench Post, that is like an additional Life from the Loam in your deck to put your lands into your graveyard to find them. Because once they're in there, you can retrieve them. That's how it is. Locust gonna be good in the new Modern Horizons 3 deck. Absolutely. Okay, next super chat. We got Grixis Control, the actual archetype, now sentient as a person. Foot Bottom Feast. 3-mana instant. Put any number of target creature cards from your graveyard on top of your library. And also you get to draw a card. I mean, it's basically regrowth. It's regrowth for black, but you get to stack your deck with everything, and you get the card immediately. I mean, let's take a look at regrowth here for a second. This is 2 mana, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. I mean, it's basically doing the same thing, right? Because you'll stack the deck with creatures, you'll draw the card immediately, but you also get to stack the deck with all sorts of other creatures simultaneously. Let's see. Shalin with Spring Splasher. It's good, right? Right? I've never seen this thing before. Oh, it's new. It's a froggy. It's a frog beast for 2 mana. A 2/1. Whenever it attacks, target creature defending player controls gets -3, -0. You're going to shrink down their creatures. So, this is really beneficial whenever your opponent has like a 1/1 Death Toucher on the battlefield. Say, take something like those Vipers, like Ambush. Well, maybe not Ambush Viper, because this one has Flash. Which is one that sits on the battlefield. Wasteland Viper. There we go. Death Touch, 1/2. So when your opponent has like these types of creatures that have Death Touch, and they like attack with everything, but they leave their one Wasteland Viper on the battlefield, this is the counter to that card. So you attack, it'll shrink down their power to nothing. So even if they deal 0 damage, it's not enough damage to actually kill your creature with Death Touch. So that's what it's for. Next up, Super Chat from Kios Gaming with the Wall of Dust. Three mana for a 1/4. So can already block Ragavan and kill it. Love it. No creature blocked by Wall of Dust may attack during its controller's next turn. That actually deters people from attacking big time, because if you attack and you get blocked by the Wall of Dust, well, that's it. You're not going to be able to attack next turn. You could even, I mean, you basically, it's a stun counter, right? You can even sacrifice this to your opponent's largest creature, block it, it dies, but you now know, you now have the knowledge that they can't attack with it the next turn. So the defenses might be down. It's a good time to go in for the win. Next up, we got... Oh, Thomas has got a combo here. Egotist plus Burnt Offering. What's Burnt Offering? Sacrifice a creature to add that creature's casting cost. Oh, boom! And that much mana. That is a great combo. We've got Pugger. Bouncing Beebles, please. Bouncing Beebles. Oh, this is a cute card. 3 mana, 2/2. Bouncing Beebles is unblockable if defending player controls an artifact. You tell me, who doesn't have an artifact? A treasure token, a soul ring, mana crypt, mana vault? Nobody. So you basically have a 3 mana, 2/2 unblockable. It'd be incredibly rare that somebody doesn't have an artifact. Basically, unblockable creature. Oh, we got Shin with the Hot Springs. Green 1 generic, enchant land. When Hot Springs comes into play, choose target land you control. Pay 0, tap a land, Hot Springs enchants to prevent 1 damage. So it's basically, all it is giving you the ability to prevent 1 damage. You have Prodigal Sorcerer on your land. And the thing with Prodigal Sorcerer, no, not Prodigal Sorcerer, I'm preventing. We're preventing damage. We can prevent against Prodigal Sorcerer. This is confusing a little bit. I want to see the actual Oracle text. Yeah, it's an aura. Chandland has tap, prevent the next 1 damage that be dealt to any target this turn. And if you need to protect your 1 toughness creatures, this is going to do the job. Next up, Ryan Harris with Fractured Identity with Eater of Days and Stoke. This is not a combo show, Ryan Harris. So you want a Fractured Identity. Oh, you want a Fractured Identity your Eater of Days and then stifle your own Eater of Days? That's crazy, Ryan. You're crazy. Wow, that's a hell of a combo, too. So Ryan wants to create Eater of Days. Well, I guess... Sorry, Eater of Days, stifle the Eater of Days, and then Fractured Identity the Eater of Days to give 1 to everybody else, and then you get a billion extra turns. Right, Toad says, Ryan, you sniped my combo. Oh, did you have one? No, I didn't see it here. 1 for Mob, Aku Dejin. Nikachu! It's a 4-mana, 5/6 trampler. During your upkeep, each opponent puts a +1/+1 counter on each creature they control. But here's the deal. What if they don't have any creatures in play? Just have to make sure you play something like Pestilence, I think it is. Pestilence. There we go. You have to have cards like Pestilence in play. End of turn, if there are no creatures in play, sacrifice Pestilence. But this creature is pretty big, right? It's like, so basically anything 5 toughness or lower, or they're all gonna die. They can't stay on the battlefield. But the Aku Djinn will constantly be there trampling over everybody, and you know they can have as many +1/+1 counters as they want. It's useless because they don't have creatures in play. Next up, we've got Wolfgang with Reito Lantern. 2-mana artifact, pay 3, put target card from a graveyard on the bottom of its owner's library. Graveyard hate in any color. Oh my god, if they had, you know, if they had Life from the Loam and you put it on the bottom of their library, I mean, that's going to make them so angry. You hit their Life from the Loam, you hit their reanimation targets, you hit their flashback cards. This has a lot of versatility. All in colorless mana. Completely colorless. We got Tyreek Smith with Trepanation Blade. Trepanation Blade. Alright, this is a 3-mana equipment. Whenever equipped creature attacks, defending player reveals cards from the top of their library until they reveal a land card. The creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn for each card revealed this way. That player puts the revealed cards into his or her graveyard. So anybody who's scrying cards to the top of their deck, brainstorming, Sensei's Divining Topping, you're going to want to play your Trepanation Blade. I mean, maybe it'll be awkward if they have Sensei's Divining Top, because actually they could just put a land on top, because just scrap the Sensei Divining Top. But if they're ever scrying cards to the top of their deck, that's when you get them with the Trepanation Blade. All right, you stack something good. Well, guess what? The good card is going straight into the graveyard.
No, God, please, no!
That's exactly what they're going to be thinking when you attack them with the Trepanation Blade. They never thought that a card like this would be good. You manipulate the top of your deck? Well, I can do the same thing too. Two can play at this game. Next up, Storm Cauldron, good. Apocalypse, Storm Cauldron. 5-mana artifact. Each player may play an additional land during each of their turns. Whenever a land is tapped for its mana, return it to its owner's hand. I mean, this is a landfall thing. This is actually completely busted in landfall decks. Especially if you have extra landfalls like Azusa, Dry the Elysian Grove. This thing's completely broken. Next up, Deuce with the Bottle of Suleiman. Pretty sure we've had this one on the show before. The Bottle of Suleiman. 4-mana artifact, pay 1, sacrifice the bottle, flip a coin. Putting things into chance. If you lose the flip, Bottle of Suleiman deals 5 damage to you. If you win the flip, put a 5/5 colorless Djinn artifact creature token with flying onto the battlefield. Well, we just have to make sure we have our lucky Krark's Thumb. Might not have been lucky for Krark, but it's definitely going to be lucky for us. If you would flip a coin, instead flip 2 coins and ignore one of them. So our odds of losing are basically 25%, and our odds of getting a 5/5 colorless Djinn artifact is 75%. For 1 mana, well, we only do this once, but we can bring it back, all right? With Arcane what is that? Not Arcane. Arcane Nothing. There's that land that puts artifacts from the graveyard back on top of your library. You could Bottle of Suleiman over and over and over again. I just don't remember what that's called. I don't use this card. I know what cards do. I know what cards do, but I don't got the names yet. Okay, David Sampson, what do you got? No card yet. Tell me how Common Cause would ever be good. Common Cause. If no one got a card yet, let me know. You'll get my attention. Common Cause, it's a 3 mana enchantment. Non-artifact creatures get +2/+2 as long as they share a color. This is crazy. You show me an Anthem effect that gives +2/+2. They're mostly +1/+1. This is great for the token decks. So in one card, usually you need to have 2 Anthems in play to get the same effect. This is an all-in-oneer over here. Academy Ruins. Thank you. I had yeah, I had a different word stuck in my head and I couldn't get it out of there. Crowcore Games with aggressive mining. Without any donating? What do you mean? No, you want this card. It's a 4 mana card. You can't play lands, but you sacrifice a land to draw 2 cards. Activate this ability only once each turn. You just play this in decks that play lands. Like, you know, what do we have? We now have the Flare of Cultivation? Flare of Cultivation. You have to play a deck with tons of these cards in it. 3 mana sorcery. You may sacrifice a non-token green creature rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Reveal those cards. Put one into your put one on the battlefield and put the other into your hand. Whoops, hold on. This is not a good example. You can't play lands. Okay, you need cards that put more than 1 land in play. That doubles. You need ramp spells that doubles the lands. Does this get around explore? Can I still explore cards in play? May play an additional land? No, it does not. Thought it would just put a land directly onto the battlefield. Hold on. Okay, hold on. There's Sakura. I can't think of a million cards to do this, but like there are cards that put lands directly into play, like Sakura Tribe Scout. It's a green 1/1. Tap, put a land card from your hand into play. You have to play cards like Farseek that look for Plains Island or Swamp or Mountain and put it onto the battlefield tapped. So as long as you do that, I mean, you're basically cashing those lands in for more cards. Very, very good card. We got Chosen One with the Charnel Troll. Love this guy back in the day. Well, you can still love it even today. It is a 3... What do you mean back in the day? This is not that old. This is Guilds of Ravnica. Copyright 2018. Okay, it's a 3 mana 4/4 troll. Trample. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on Charnel Troll. Otherwise, sacrifice it. It's, you know, like 3 mana 5/5 on your next turn. That's pretty impressive. And it gets only bigger from there. 2 mana, discard a creature card, put a +1/+1 counter on Charnel Troll. So not only is it also a discard outlet for reanimation, it's also a good dredge discard outlet. You put a dredge card from your hand directly into the graveyard, you dredge to get more creatures into the graveyard to feed your Charnel Troll. So yeah, 6 years ago. Try playing this game for 30. Back in the day. Well, okay, you know what? I've heard like kids who are like 9 years old said, you know, back in the day when I was like 6 years old, because to them like that 3 years is an eternity. People have a different perspective of back in the day. So I imagine if you're like, I guess if you're like 18 6 years ago when you're 12, that will feel like back in the day. Oh boy, back in middle school. You never know. Charizard's not a bad card. That's a great card. It's just annoying, that's all. Okay, who does not have card? No card yet. Razor Pendulum from Ristradin. This is a 4 mana artifact. At the end of each player's turn, if that player has 5 or less life, Razor Pendulum deals 2 damage to them. Again, another World of Fire. So, like, when they're in trouble, prepare for trouble and make it double. Because they can't, if they have 5 or less life, it's going to deal 2 damage. And at 1 life, that is going to be absolutely lethal. The art is cursed. Oh, I wasn't even paying attention. Yeah, this person is like, no arm here, naked. Very, very cursed art. Wow, they position it in just a way that you can't see the butt crack. It's good enough for Magic the Gathering. Sledge with Uktavia Freet. Nothing good can be said about this garbage. Okay, the 4 mana 5/4 with cumulative upkeep of a green. It's still a 5/4 creature for 4 mana. That is not a bad rate. In green, it's probably very good in Weatherlight block if you're playing with Weatherlight block. What else can we say about this card? It just out of curiosity, are there any cards that like how do I put it? Are there any cards out there that benefit you when you spend mana? Like if you spend mana, then you get like so many counters on something. If you spent this much mana, you get something. Because I think that would be a fantastic combo with commutative upkeep cards. That's the way I'm looking at it. But I don't know if such a card exists. Common Cause is terrible. If your opponent has to be white also, and an opponent gets a buff if it is even online. You didn't convince me? Alright. This art looks like chewing gum in human form stuck to a tree. Well, I guess that's true. Honestly, I'm a bit I mean, it's not bad, but it's not good. It's just what it... I mean, 5/4 creature is not bad. You get in for a few chunks of damage. If you don't expect the game to be going on for like more than 3 turns, it's like it's not really that big of a deal. J-Joe, we definitely got your card. I swear, didn't we get a card out of you, J. Jones? I said JJ Jones. I'm gonna look at the replay. Don't abuse the system, JJ Jones. Unless you're unless there are 2 JJ Joneses in the in chat. Okay, I'm in the comment section. If you can find an even better reason than just having a 5/4 creature, you let me know in the comment section below. But it's hard to give like because what this is a vanilla creature basically. So vanilla creatures are not particularly interesting to talk about. Okay, dangerous one with the Akron Legionnaire. Akron Legionnaire. Your backup was Wood Elemental, but we've done Wood Elemental. It's a very good card. Okay, 8 mana for an 8/4, except for creatures named Akron Legionnaire and artifact creatures. Creatures you control can't attack. Well, you don't need to attack because the thing that's going to be attacking is just the creature. I mean, you're going to play this in your artifact Akron Legionnaire deck. So that's all you need. Just make sure you don't have any creatures that are not Akron Legionnaire or artifacts in this archetype. Simple as that. And you have a gigantic 8/4 creature. You also, alternatively, you can donate this to somebody, and then all of a sudden they can only attack with their Akron Legionnaire, and everything else can't attack. It just paralyzes their entire board. So that is a benefit. Larry Law with the trait doctoring. One mana sorcery, change the text of target permanent by replacing all instances of one color word with another one, basic land type or another until end of turn with Cipher. So you can you can encode this on a creature attack and do this over and over again. Well, this will help actually let you attack with your creatures with Akron Legionnaire if necessary. Oh no, hold on, sorry, not Akron Legionnaire. Oh, there's other cards that are like, if this is, you can only attack with like these color creatures. But in any case, okay, let's say someone comes at you with Red Elemental Blast. Well, guess what? The thing doesn't have red. Guess what? My creature isn't blue anymore. It's actually green. I bet you didn't see that one coming. It's a very, very good card. All right, next super chat. Come from Dangerous One. Oh no, we did this one. Emperor Boris. I've never heard of such a card. Boris Devil Boon. Alright, we got a 5 mana 2/2. It's a token generator because for 4 mana, tap, put a 1/1 black and red demon creature token named Minor Demon onto the battlefield. If you're looking for token generation in Rakdos, this is your card. Not to mention, it's got the zombie subtype, which, you know, a lot of zombie decks are going to be playing with Carrion Feeder. And what's going to feed the Carrion Feeder? Well, you can feed the Carrion Feeder. Like, sacrifice a creature, put a +1/+1 counter on your Carrion Feeder. The thing that's going to feed it is the Boris Devil Boon. Not to mention, you can also sacrifice Boris Devil Boon to the carrion feeder. Goes back to the command zone, replay it for extra value. It will work. Yeah, very handsome. Mordrak, Karavek Spites. Black instant. Sacrifice all permanents. Discard your hand. Target player loses 5 life. We did this one many times. I mean, not only... so you have to have permanents in play that when they get sacrificed, you're going to get some benefit. But not only that, because you're discarding your hand, this is basically one with nothing with upside, because you at least get to smack your opponent for 5 life. Some people want their stuff into the graveyard. Not only that, this also is a combo card with... What's the cheese stand? I only remember the cheese stands alone. Like, there's a real card. If you control no cards in play other than the cheese stands alone and have no cards in your hand, you win the game. So you put the Oblivion Ring on the cheese stands alone, play your Karavek Spite, and boom. You have absolute total victory. I don't remember what the real card is. There is a real card. Baron Glory, that's right. This is a Baron Glory enabler. Yeah, combo with O-Ring and Baron Glory. Easy. So why, if you knew that already, Emperor, why would you even suggest Karavek Spite? You already knew the answer to the question. How could you do that? Next up. Ketchup! About Face. This is a red instant. Switch target creature's power and toughness until end of turn. Effects that alter the creature's power alter its toughness instead, and vice versa. Effects that alter creature's power alter its toughness instead. Oh, I see. So if you like pump up its power, it ends up pumping up its butt. This is a hard counter to anything with 0 power in play. So if you have like walls or like Doran decks that have like 0 to 7 toughness, like 0 power, 7 toughness, it's like an anti-wall card. It like basically kills them on the spot. So it's very, very strong in that regard. Not to mention, you can also, if you have like your own creatures that are attacking as like a 5/2, but then your opponent blocks it with like a 2/2 creature, you can also about face your own creature to turn into a 2/5, and then all of a sudden you did the old switcheroo on them, and it kills their creature and not yours. It's actually a really versatile card. I turned the wall of spears into spears and it fell apart. Yeah, exactly. New Tameo. Instant counter to New Tameo, the 0/3 creature. So you gotta think, like, what are all those broken 0/3 creatures? About Face blows all of them away. Rasputin, the Dreamweaver. Isn't this like infinite mana guy? I could have swore this is like already pretty broken. There's a battlefield with 7 dream counters on it. Remove a dream counter to add... oh, it's not infinite mana, but it's a lot of mana. Remove a dream counter to add 1 mana. You have Ramp in Azorius. Where the hell does that exist? It's a very, very unique card. Remove a dream counter from Rasputin. Prevent the next 1 damage that would be dealt to Rasputin this turn. This is like a Swiss Army knife. Beginning of your upkeep. If Rasputin started the turn untapped, put a dream counter on it. Rasputin can't have more than 7 dream counters on it. And also replenish itself. Come on, get out of here. We're donating this one. Rah, rah, Rasputin. Something, something. Something. Wood Elemental. Oh, P, we've done Wood Elemental many times. Okay, hold on. I had a clunky answer for Wood Elemental last time. We'll do it again. Okay, I got a better answer for Wood Elemental this time around. Okay, as Wood Elemental enters the battlefield, sacrifice any number of untapped forests. Wood Elemental's power and toughness are each equal to the sacrificed number of forests, the equal number of the forests sacrificed as it enters the battlefield. So, step 1, we need... what's the card? You play cards from your hand. You don't tap your lands anymore for mana. You can play land cards, and you can play 2 spells a turn. And you can only play cards equal to the number of lands in play or less. I can't remember what that card is. But you guys do. The coffee crew knows every single card. It's a red card. It's like red Fires of Invention. That's what I was thinking of. Step 1, Fires of Invention. So first we play our Fires of Invention, alright? You can cast spells only during your turn and only cast no more than 2 spells each turn. Actually, sorry. Restore Balance is the first step. Step 1, Restore Balance. You can suspend it on a white. Each player chooses a number of lands they control to the number equal to the number of lands controlled by the player who controls the fewest, then sacrifices the rest. Players sacrifice creatures and discard cards the same way. So step 1, Restore Balance. Step 2, Fires of Invention. You can cast spells only during your turn, and you can cast no more than 2 spells each turn. You may cast spells with converted mana cost less than or equal to the number of lands you control without paying their mana costs. Step 3, on turn 5, play your Wood Elemental, because the lands you can play for free. You have a bunch of untapped. Make sure everything is a forest in play. It's like, yeah, basically everything's a forest. Make sure everything's a dual land. Sack it all, and then your opponent will be super unhappy when finally the Restore Balance comes off of Suspend, and it'll get him big time. That's how you do it. I was thinking about it. Like that is how you make Wood Elemental good. It was always a good. It was always a combo card. Matchlin with Mudhole. Anyone else did not get a card? We did this in the past. Target player removes all land cards in their graveyard from the game. Life from the Loam Tech. Who else did I not get? Wood Elemental plays around Armageddon too. It's a weird way of saying it plays around Armageddon. I don't think Finkel got a card. Zephyr Spirit. Whenever it blocks, return it to its owner's hand. It's just like a creature ETB engine. That's an easy one. Reston Serpentine. I don't think you got one today. Scrib Sprites. We have a green 1/1 with flying. There's not many flying 1/1s in green, so if you need to have evasion immediately, like on turn 1, you put your script. You play with Scrib Sprites. Not to mention it's a fairy, so if you need 4 fairies for your deck and you want to get into green, Scrib Sprites is where you want to be. Equip this with Curious Obsession or Curiosity, and you're going to be drawing 2 cards per turn in your Simic Fairies deck. Very underrated. I think a lot of fairy players, they always gravitate to Dimir, not even realizing how many great green fairies there are in this game. You got to pump that dude, exactly. Dinglebag, Rumbling Aftershocks. Five-mana enchantment. Whenever you cast a kick spell, you may have Rumbling Aftershocks deal damage to target creature or player equal to the number of times that spell was kicked. So if you play a deck with a lot of kickers, I mean, this is just free damage. Absolute free damage. Accesta, Never-Ending Torment. Okay, Never-Ending Torment. We got 6-mana sorcery. Search target player's library for X cards, where X is the number of cards in your hand, and remove them from the game. That player shuffles their library. So you got to make sure that you've got like some lock set up onto the battlefield that no one can deal any damage to you, like Rest in Peace plus Rest in Peace and Static something? Stasis? Stasis? No, not Stasis. Static Field? Can't remember. There's this card where if anything gets put into your graveyard, you... Like, the idea is... I think you're going to mill people out with this thing. So the idea is set up some sort of board. No one can attack you. No one can threaten you. Then you Never-Ending Torment as your win condition. Well, we're not done yet. I'm not done. I'm not done yet, that's for sure. It's just a win condition. So a win condition in your deck, because you're just going to keep tons of cards in your hand, and eventually you're just going to mill people out every single turn. If they can't beat you, then the Never-Ending Torment is going to never end them. And if you just take all their win conditions, all their good win conditions, they'll slowly realize they'll have nothing else to do till they're dead. Next up, Emperor's got donation for Tokawo. Thanks so much for supporting other people in the coffee crew. City in a Bottle. This card's very good. It's just narrow, that's all. Hold on. Where's Takao? Seeing if we can get... Is Takao here? Or maybe it was suggested a super long time ago? Yeah, I can't find it. Can't find the original tweet. Or the original one. Okay, 2 mana, Artifact. Whenever a non-token permanent originally printed in Arabian Nights expansion other than City Bottle is on the battlefield, its controller sacrifices it. This is like one of the best cards against Bazaar of Baghdad. One of the best cards, which is legal in the Commander, by the way. Draw 2 cards and discard 3 cards. Where'd it come from? It came from Arabian Nights. So if you know your opponent is playing a discard deck with Bazaar of Baghdad, you might want to preemptively get them with the Scene in a Bottle. Now, let's not count out Library of Alexandria. That card might one day get unbanned in some format or another, and this will be the hard counter to... I mean, the moment Library of Alexandria is legal in a very big open format like Commander, Senior Bottle is going to go up big time in value. What does the original Senior Bottle look like? Ooh, it looks nice. I like the OG more. I refuse to believe you can find anything positive about Teferi's Isle. We did this before. Teferi's Isle. I mean, it's a blue soul land. It comes into play tap, but like big deal. You're gonna get the phasing mana. It's for the person who's setting up for turns 4, 5, and 6, not for people who want to go blasting out of the gate. But it's just a soul land. And then you also could play this in a deck with Armageddon. So you set up your board, you start getting things going, and then now when it's phased out, you then play your Armageddon, you blow up the board, and then on the next turn, you automatically have like a soul land to basically not even rebuild your board, but you can keep casting your spells while everyone else is playing catch up. So Teferi's Isle is actually sneakily very good in this game. Mr. Bus Driver with the Dwarven Sea Clan. I didn't know the dwarves were at sea. Dwarven Sea. Oh, I put C's. Dwarven Sea Clan. We got 3 mana for a 1/1. Tap. At end of combat, Dwarven Sea Clan deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. Use this ability only if that creature's controller controls any islands. So 3 mana, tap, and into combat, deals 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. It's basically a shock. Only if the creature use this ability only if that creature's controller controls any island. So first, I mean, it's very easy to give people islands now with like Harbinger of the Seas. Thanks to Harbinger of the Seas, everyone has islands. And then if anyone wants to attack, they have to make sure it has more than 2 toughness. Otherwise, the Dwarven Sea Clan is going to take it out. Enemy spotted. One more super chat for the road. We have another one from Reston Serpentine with the Willow Fairy. More fairies. Oh, and now you know how now we know how small the fairies are, or how big the elk are. This is a green 1 generic 1/2. It's got flying. Hey, look, flying is hard for green. You show me a lot of the flying green cards. They don't hand that out to green very much. This is another Curious Obsession, Curiosity type of target to smack in for damage and draw some cards. And we got Math, Ashnod's Coupon. It's not even real. Ashnod's Coupon. Yeah, it's fake. We want real cards here. Real cards. Okay, Chad with Soul Canar, the Swap King. The Swap King? What do you mean, the Swamp King? Seems like jank. All the janky cards are good. You just gotta look at it at the right angle. The 5 mana 5/5 demon with Swamp Walk, so it's already unblockable versus most people. Whenever a player casts a black spell, you gain 1 life. Have you ever heard of Painter Servant. Well, guess what, everyone? Everyone's spells are black now. All cards that aren't in play, spells, and permanents are the chosen color in addition to the other colors. As you cast spells, you keep giving me more life. Steve Cooper's like, I forgot there was a morning show. And with that, I do believe the show is over. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, the show is going to be at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Monday, the 24th. It's an AI show. You're not going to want to miss it. Usually, though, we do this show at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Be there or be square. Thanks so much, everyone, for supporting the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you Super Chat to be part of the show, or Super Chat so other people are part of the show. And thanks so much to everybody, the coffee crew who's here in the morning. People like Surefire Selves, Russian Serpentine, Abzo, Toads, David Sampson, PM. We got Hug Fuh, Blaze, Mordrek, Ketchup, Steve Cooper, Carlo. Oh, we got Russian Serpentine. Thanks so much, everyone, for being here. And as usual, my coffee crew, keep brewing up them coffees. And we're going to keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourself, and I will see you at the